everyone. My name is Mo.
And I'm Casey.
From No Apologies, the podcast by Better Benefield on YouTube. Stay tuned to the informative and distinguished radio show Enlightening of the Mind here on 1220 KLDC.
You're listening to KLDC Denver on HD 1220 AM and streaming online at 1220kldc.com, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
Welcome to Enlightening the Mind, a weekly talk show that deals with issues and topics that affect and shape how we live our lives. Now, without further ado, here's the host of Enlightening the Mind, Stacey Royale.
Good morning, Colorado. How are you guys doing this morning? We have a great show lined up for you all. We're going to get into the President's State of the Union address. We also want to get into reparations. This is Black History Month, and we definitely want to highlight some of the issues that are affecting the Black communities. To do this, I want to introduce a special guest panelist that we have coming on this week. He was with us last week, Casey Benefield from the No Apologies podcast. Him and his wife Mo have a wonderful YouTube channel called Better Benefield. You guys check it out. I want to welcome Casey to the show. Casey, how you doing this morning, man?
I'm pretty good, Stacey. Thanks for having us.
Yes. So I want to before we start getting into the topics, I want to let our listeners know. Tell us a little bit about your podcast. What is No Apologies with Better Benefield? Could you explain that? And what is your mission? What do you hope to accomplish with that? Go ahead, sir.
Well, No Apologies is a podcast that's much like your radio show. We're just trying to shed light on things in the Black and Brown community and trying to bridge the gap with certain social and economic problems that are happening with people of color. It's me and my wife. Here's my wife.
Hi, Stacey. My name is Mo Benefield, the other half of Better Benefield. And with No Apologies, the podcast, we're trying to prevent sugarcoating and giving you the raw and real, not only in the Black community, but as a fellow American.
What led you guys to actually want to do this podcast?
You want to answer that one, Boo?
Well, originally when we got together, I've always had the vision of a YouTube channel. And with Casey and his demeanor and his eloquence, it was second nature to do it. And we went from our YouTube visual to now we're officially a podcast.
Awesome. When does your podcast air? Does it air live? Can listeners listen live, or can they just check it? And could you also give us the link for our listeners to check it out as well?
Well, you can go to the YouTube channel, Better Benefield, BETER, Benefield, BENEFIELD. And it's usually a weekly podcast. Last week, we aired our radio show interview with you. And a lot of our listeners really appreciate the content that you guys have. So they can just check us out there.
Awesome. We definitely appreciate guys having you on. We definitely welcome the input. So on with the show, guys. On February the 7th, 2023, President Joe Biden delivered his presidential's second State of the Union address, which is the speech every U.S. president gives every calendar year, at the beginning of every calendar year. During this annual speech, the president updates Congress and viewers from all over the country on the nation's current conditions. So what I want to do, we're going to start with our panel. I'm going to start with my co-host, Chris Gemini. Did you check out the presidential State of the Union speech, and what were your thoughts on it? What did you take away from it? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, as I watched the State of the Union over and over, here's what I found. All I could think about is the fact that Joe Biden came across like this frail, fragile, soft-spoken, articulate, innocent, harmless president. But yet we all know that he's this cunning leader, which is the perfect characteristics and traits of a syndicate and advocate of an anti-Christic system. I don't know if you guys got that. Anti-Christic system. He can lure people in with all these fancy, nice, harmless words and get you into believing into these presidents. But can you really trust anybody that sit in the political arena? He's the 46th president from, if I'm not mistaken. And this country has gotten no better. We have not seen no progress whatsoever. Go ahead. What you got, Royal? Man.
Okay, I get what you're saying, and I'm gonna let everybody opine. I just wanted to just wait a minute now. Come on, man. He's trying to do a lot, man. He inherited a bad situation, man. We had COVID. We had things going down, economies, everything was flowing. He's trying his best to get things back. You don't see it that way? What exactly?
A lot of what he claimed was very deceitful, and like most of the presidents, they all have perverted the system and have pulled the hooded cloak over themselves. So here is Joe Biden. He's flagging and waving around Tyree Nichols' parents, all in the cameras, knowing that Tyree and his family are victims of the very corrupt security and justice systems that they have set up.
All right, hold that thought, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Jim. Now hold that thought, man. What are we gonna do? We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna continue this on the other side of the break. You're listening to Enlightening the Mind. I can't believe you say our president ain't doing a good job.
Yes, sir, I said it.
Enlightening the Mind Radio is sponsored by The Urban Development, a nonprofit organization focused on helping all of America by making sure all of her citizens have the equal opportunity to work and pursue happiness. Log on to their website, theurbandevelopment.org, to find out how you can make a difference.
Hey there, I'm Jeff Archie with the International Gospel Hour. Please listen Monday through Friday at 6:45 a.m. on AM 1220 KLDC. Let's make it a devotional for drive time to get your day started. Let the International Gospel Hour provide your spiritual map for the day. That's the International Gospel Hour, Monday through Friday at 6:45 a.m. on AM 1220 KLDC. Please join us and see you then.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mo.
And I'm Casey.
From No Apologies, the podcast by Better Benefield on YouTube.
You are listening to the informative and distinguished radio show, Enlightening of the Mind, here on 1220 KLDC.
This is Chris Gemini, and you're tuned in to your News Talk and Enlightenment broadcast by the ETM show on 1220 KLDC.
You're back with Enlightening the Mind, and we're having a good discussion about the State of the Union. Gemini, before we went to break, you was talking about how you feel that our president is frail or weak in his assessment. And I said, hey, wait a minute, man. I kind of he inherited some bad things. He's trying to get himself right. What do you think he's doing wrong? Go ahead.
Again, I left off where they have his Tyree's family all in the camera to lure in the minority vote, to lure it. They're using passion and sympathy to lure you guys in. Now, let me ask you this. How many minutes or seconds did he actually talk about police brutality?
Well, come on, man. I mean, now see,
about 30 seconds.
Okay. But all presidents do this. This is how you get love. That's called playing the politics. I mean, you got to give and take, to do some things, to get some things. Come on, man. You know this. Are we finna just nitpick everything? Is this what we have become in society, where we just want to sit there and nitpick? I know that we do a lot of that. We do a lot of that, man. It's called hypocrisy.
But Stacey, that's not
responsibility
really
and accountability.
What you're doing is,
go ahead.
You're agreeing with what Chris said. Chris literally said that all presidents do this, that they're all in the same game. So for him to say the Tyree's family is here, but this is the author of the crime bill that caused all of the recidivism. This is the same man who just vowed $55 billion to the country of Africa, saying that slavery was the first sin of this country. Not the black people here. He's sending $55 billion to Africa.
So I gotta comment.
Great point.
I get what you're saying, but now, okay, so I understand that. And we gonna get into that.
Here's a point that the president made that it was a good point. Something that he did say. However, I'm still looking through the layers of what he's saying. Now, he said, imagine what it's like to lose a child at the hands of the law, but other people other than police officers have the right also to return home safely. You have the right, your child has the right to return home safely as well, not just the police officers. So why are the police officers trained to think like this? Why should you even be trained to think like that if you're a human being?
Right.
There should be dire consequences. There should be dire consequences when police break the law themselves when they're supposed to be enforcing the law.
Chris, that's my point last week. So the sixth officer involved with the Memphis 5 is a white cop. So he was the original officer that tried to pull over. He is now being charged because he's part of the same conspiracy. So when I told you last week that there was no black-on-black crime, that this was simply police officers acting as police officers do, and them thinking they could get away with it because they had a badge, that's what happened.
Right.
So
true. Now, in your statement by saying that, Casey, I thought you were speaking broadly that there was no black-on-black crime, because I was wanting to get back to you and ask you, okay, then what was the crime against Tupac? Who were the killers of Biggie Small? Who were the killers of Nipsey Hussle? The KKK?
Well, no, I can tell you this. No, let me answer. So when you say black-on-black crime, that is the same propaganda that they keep pushing. Because if you look at the numbers, it was just published in the USA Today last week that 88% of white people are killed by white people, and 92% of black people are killed by black people. So basically, we kill who is near us. The most murders in the country.
I agree with the statistics. However, our focal point was not what whites are doing to whites. If you look at the numbers, let's see, I had it up, but in 2013, we lead the numbers by a couple of thousands. I believe it was like 189 whites were killed by whites. 2,800 and some odd change were blacks killed by blacks. That's a very big difference. That's a very big gap in the statistics.
Right, Chris, let me jump in there. I know we're trying to sound like a group of Biden bashers, but I got to be honest. In my opinion, that State of the Union address should have begun with a disclaimer for entertainment purposes only. This government, we have our government, we have the Academy Awards, we have the Grammy.
Wow.
What we saw last night was an award show, was a performance, was a thing of entertainment. Yeah, Biden spoke so good. When I was turned away from the TV, I thought Jesus was spoken from the wonderful things he was saying. I had to look back. I said, is that Jesus talking? Is that Biden? I said, oh, dang, Biden. But Senator Kennedy made a good point.
Before you guys stop bashing,
Senator Kennedy said,
wait a minute. I got to step in here. Hold on, I got to step in here, guys. Okay, so you guys want to bash. Hold on, you guys are bashing the president. And I just want to
It's not bashing the president. It's bringing out facts. It's not bashing the president at all. All of them are guilty.
Facts. Hold on. Here's some facts. We have a record of 10 million new Americans starting small businesses. We're moving production back to the U.S. Inflation, it was rising, but now it's steadily beginning to fall. We're rebuilding great infrastructure. Hold on, this is okay, lies.
You're saying that businesses are coming back to America, yet I'm going to tell you something about that. Okay, the clothes I'm still buying and that I will be buying in the next 5 years, they're still going to say they're coming from China. Made in China, made in India. Why? Because labor is cheap, and he knows that.
Okay. So let me ask you this.
Now you said inflation is coming down. Let me ask you this. How much are you now paying for a pack of wings, for a pack of chicken?
Man, okay, because the COVID...
What are you paying in gas and oil?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Can't be true.
Guys, COVID...
Can't speak.
Two things can't be true.
Pull your white woman privilege card.
What you said was...
Watch how fast these black men stop talking.
All of these good things are happening right now. in the State of the Union address, Joe Biden said himself that his policies have not kicked in yet.
But what he's saying, what I am telling you is these are the things that he's trying to do. Now, let's all have common sense, guys. Okay, everything starts with a thought. Okay, name another president who says, I'm fixing to forgive your student debt. They are fighting him on that. Man, he can't just sit here and say, I'm finna do everything. He's not God. As much as we want him to be, he's not God. Okay, the man says, this is what I want to do. But every time he tries to do something, okay, they come and fight it back. Okay, the man says,
Royale,
he says, okay, look,
you're
guys,
listing three good points, three good righteous attempts compared to the 10 wrongs that the man has been involved with. Because you're talking about the progress of the. Pardon me?
You have to start somewhere.
Okay, you're talking about the progress of the economy. Now, you know he inherited the economy that he inherited was on the up. He inherited that from Trump and the previous administration with Barack Obama. Okay, they made very good accomplishments with the economy. He inherited that.
I'm asking
the border that he's trying to secure was already secured. He inherited that. In fact, he opposed the wall and he let a lot of people into the country.
Didn't he speak on assisting the wall now?
Before we get off that topic, I want to go back to what Stacey said when he said name another president that said about erasing the student debt. Biden never said that. I think we're confusing the two old white men. Feel the burn, Bernie Sanders was talking about health care, student aid, as well as equaling the playing field. And we're pushing that on Biden. So we can't get those two confused. The fact that he's starting an initiative to help student loans is one thing, but he never promised us student loan forgiveness.
But he's actually pushing it. Biden is the president that is pushing it. You can only go for what's in office today.
Pushing?
Yes, Bernie, hold on. Bernie Sanders did say, and let's start it, but the president is the one that's signing the paper to get the initiative done. Okay? So for us to say that, he's actually the one doing it. Right? Do you guys not agree? Huh?
I think he also signed the crime bill.
Okay, yes, he signed the crime bill a long time ago. A lot of presidents did a lot of things. The greatest president you claim, Bill Clinton, President Clinton. Okay, but listen, man, for every great thing that somebody does, yes, they do a lot of bad things. That's why we're in the situation we're in now. This is not the heavenly world that you guys think we are in. But what I'm saying, and I'm not sitting here saying I'm a Biden supporter, but I'm sitting here saying, guys, can we stop being so cynical? Hey, maybe I'm wrong. But let's give him an opportunity.
These are facts, Stacey. Higher taxes, bigger government, more spending, more debt, more open borders, a weaker military. Criminals are treated better than the victims, and every school has a drag queen in it, and the parents are against it. Fact.
Well, listen, and one thing that he did not mention, Stacey, the only thing worse than Biden was the rebuttal by Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who said out of one side of her mouth, the best thing for her was to watch her father and President Bill Clinton holding the doors open for the Arkansas 9, the black students who couldn't go to school. And out of the same mouth, she said she is working to ban CRT. So they only want to talk about black history when it's something good, but they don't want to talk about American history to talk about the atrocities we face.
On that note, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with you guys in a second. You're listening to Enlightening the Mind. God bless America, everyone.
All right. This is WJJ. Make sure you tune in every Sunday right here at 4 o'clock for the Huff Home Ownership Legacy Team program with Walter E. Huff II, right here on 1220 a.m. every Sunday, where he will be discussing the importance of home ownership. Tune in every Sunday, 4 o'clock p.m. right here on 1220 a.m. because black home ownership matters.
Black History Month is a time to reflect unity and harmony for all of God's children. And like Martin Luther King Jr. said, the time is always right to do what is right. Thank you for listening to Enlightening the Mind on KLDC, 1220 a.m., Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. Mountain Time.
You're back with Enlightening the Mind, and we seem to disagree on the State of the Union. And guys, I'm not saying that President Biden is doing everything right. Okay, fine. But I am saying that he's saying the right things and he's actually implementing some policies. My argument was, and I think, Gemini, you want to come in and say that I'm all over the place about the things he's doing for the economy. But I will say this. He's definitely fighting. It's in the Supreme Court to give us relief on the student debt loans. That is going to help out. He is actually trying to implement some social plans to help us out. But you see it differently. Go ahead, sir.
One of the things that stood out to me was he mentioned he wouldn't raise taxes on people making less than $400,000. He's making up for it by taxing your pensions and retirement funds. Oil prices have doubled from $2.39 since the first day he took office. They've earned billions from taxes on oil and gas. That's what stood out.
Exactly. People need to focus on what laws are being passed behind closed doors, not get caught up in the lip services. The lip services will have you thinking Jesus has returned. No, Jesus has not returned yet. So let's focus on the laws. Again, I emphasize, in his time, higher taxes, bigger government, more spending, more debt, open borders, a weaker military, criminals getting more favors than the victims, and every school has drag queens in it against the parents' desires. What I witnessed in that speech was what I saw on a Family Guy episode. It was a political episode. If a politician says, "Hey guys, we're gonna put fish in M&M's," ooh yay! Hey guys, we're gonna have barbecue on the top of the pyramid, ooh yay! Come on, man. The lip service is irrelevant. Focus on the laws. Focus on the discussions being held behind closed doors, because the policies and the bills are what's crippling this nation, not the talk. Go ahead, Terry.
Absolutely. I agree with a lot of that there. He has not, maybe pay has gone up, but inflation has gone down. They're, spending, the deficit, was at 1.7 trillion. But a lot of that was due to expiring emergency pandemic spending. He's definitely a puppet in this.
Who's not a puppet?
Well, they are. They're running him. He's just he can't even think for himself half the time. He's lost almost all the time. He really needs to be just put out to pasture.
And Terry, good point. Would you agree, Terry, that Biden has been a politician for 40-something years? And look what he's done with his 40-something years of experience in politics versus the previous president, short period with zero president experience. Right, Terry?
Well, I see that that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
The fact that you can even say that there is a 45-year career versus no experience at all, you at least know someone that at least knows where the Constitution is located and know that 2 Corinthians isn't a Bible verse. But also, like you said, with the lip service, we all got to understand Congress and the way politics work. The president sometimes is just a face for the government. Everything has to go through the Congress. So even though he can put things into action, it takes more than just him for the world to change.
Mm-hmm. And let me expand on what my wife just said, because that makes a lot of sense, and I want to talk about the gas prices. And I'm not going to defend Trump nor Biden, because I feel like Chris Gemini said they're all in it together. Number one, the debt and everything he inherited was because the former president ignored COVID, ignored it. So what he did was he stopped the economy. He literally stopped it because of the spread and the vaccine rollout. That happened. We have to acknowledge that. That's number one. Number two, Biden tried to pass a bill to stop them with the price gouging at the gas pump, and the Senate, with all of the Republicans, stopped it. So to say that Trump's presidency was better than Biden's is a laughable stretch. That's the best joke that's been told here today, because 45 by far is the worst president that's ever had, and that's coming from a black person in California that lived through the Reagan era.
Man, if he would have made this point, if he would have made a few adjustments with his personal mindset, he would have been the greatest president ever. But when he takes 2 or 3 good steps forward, he launches a million steps backwards.
Are you saying that when he said that the coronavirus wasn't real? Or how about saying
yes, it was real?
He didn't say nothing about coronavirus. Wait a minute. He didn't say nothing about coronavirus not being real. Yeah. All he said was, now first of all, nobody. He did not say coronavirus wasn't real. Okay, everybody understand that there is something going on. But what I'm saying, and I did not hear him say that the coronavirus wasn't real. What I'm saying is, and I kind of agree with you. What I'm taking out of this, Casey, you said it. You hit the nail on the head. Man, the man is trying to do some things. The man is trying to get things done. But just like Mo said, just like you said, hey man, this is politics. Guys, they're going to say a lot and do a little. You do understand that in this capitalist society, it can't get right. Okay? Even the Bible said, if everybody, and I want to say this, man, I go back to this whole thing about hypocrisy. If we live what we say, the world would be a better place. Guys, we're about to wrap the show up. I'm going to give each one of you guys a time to have a last word. What I want to do is I'm going to start with you, Chris Gemini. We're going to go down the line. I'm going to start with you, Chris Gemini. What are your last thoughts? So your last thoughts on the State of the Union is what? And remember, we're short on time, so keep your answers under 30 seconds. Your assessment of the State of the Union is what? Go ahead, Gemini.
I fear and I'm very concerned about where we're heading in the future. For instance, he said he created 12 million jobs. Don't forget, ladies and gents and others, those jobs will be for robots and automated self-checkouts. Think about it. When you're no longer needed, what are they going to do to you to get you out the way?
Mm-hmm. America needs the return of an improved, better version Trump. Okay, go ahead. That's American needs.
Terry.
Sign that. Co-sign that, Terry.
Go ahead, Terry. Terry, go ahead.
I sure hope that things turn around real fast, and before we hit into any possible wars, things they need to change. They need to be real with America and do it right. You know, they seem to be
right. That made no sense. I'm about to cut you off. This is a Trump supporter, ladies and gentlemen. And I love Trump, but
wait a minute, man. You can't do Terry like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, she sounds just like a president.
Hey, just to let y'all know, the wars are already here. They already blew up balloons from all over the country. So there you have it. The war's already here, Terry.
I know.
Let me get some substance. Let me bring in our guest. Maybe our guest can enlighten the Enlightenment panel. Let me hear what you got to say, Mo. Close it out for us, Mo. Go ahead.
I feel like there needs to be a crisscross applesauce session of Full House Rock for politics, for one, for this group. Two, in order to have low cost, that's why we do import and exports. You can manufacture cheaper in China. When everyone was moving to Detroit because of the industrialism, then the jobs got sent over. So the whole robot thing, that's the far-fetched. But I truly believe
that's not far-fetched.
That's not far-fetched, Mo. They got articles on that, Mo. Sorry.
See, every time I try to get out of it, y'all push me back in. Do not say the robot thing is a far-fetched. I go to the grocery store. I go to the gas pumps. The robots take care of me. I will not go to a person in cash checkout. I'm going to the self-checkout. Sorry.
Have y'all not been in Walmart where there's an R2D2 unit?
They're never gonna call us.
I'm going to explain why. Let me use my 30 seconds. I had something
you got 30 seconds.
Let me explain the self-checkout.
30 seconds. I got to close it out. Go ahead.
So the reason that you have so much self-checkout is because of the poor job the previous administration did with the coronavirus. When you have an entitlement and people are getting stimulus checks and people are getting a lot of welfare, they don't want to work. So they had, as a business, you have to keep the business open. That's what really
That's
happened.
not it at all. Casey, that's not it at all. The reason people don't want to go back...
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm going to have to cut. Okay, Gemini, make this point brief. I'm going to let you respond.
Okay. The reason people...
Close the show out. Be quick.
The reason people don't want to work is because they have created jobs where they can deliver food to your houses now. And they can pick up boxes from Amazon and just use their own vehicles and vans and deliver those. They have self-contracts now with these companies.
Not going grocery shopping is because it wasn't safe. The mother of invention is necessity. The reason that you have the DoorDashers, they couldn't go to the store.
On that note, guys, and on that note, we got to stop it right there, guys. I appreciate you guys. We guys had a great animated discussion. Casey, Mo, we want to bring you guys back.
Enlightening the Mind Radio is sponsored by The Urban Development, a nonprofit organization focused on helping all of America by making sure all of her citizens have the equal opportunity to work and pursue happiness. Log on to their website, theurbandevelopment.org, to find out how you can make a difference.
Escape